Why did this suddenly turn into that Monsters vs. Aliens Halloween short? How's it going, YouTube lovers? This is the Ram. Welcome back to another video where today I'm doing the reaction video. Today I'm reacting to the official teaser for Stranger Things Tales from 85. That's right, another Stranger Things reaction. Thought I was done. I didn't do any videos after I watched it, but the finale of Stranger Things 5, the series finale, was on New Year's Eve. And I did watch it before the ball dropped, before we rang in 2026. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. Like, they avoided a Game of Thrones level ending, I will say. Nothing as bad as that. But it just felt kind of meh. Like, Volume 1 of Stranger Things 5, I freaking loved. I thought it was incredible. I was like, okay, we're continuing where we left off with Season 4. This is gonna be awesome. And then the pacing was so strange. Volume 2 completely dropped the pace that it had and took what I felt like was an hour's worth-ish of plot advancement and stretched it out over a 3-hour runtime. And then the finale went full Marvel movie. We're fighting a giant CGI kaiju and not one person got even a scratch on them in the fight. So that's why, like, this show here, Tales from 85, it is an animated series set between seasons 2 and 3. Normally, I would have been ecstatic about this because I think that timeline in the show is something I would always love to see a story in because it's the only time when all of the characters are together. You know, like, Elle is there, Max is there, everyone is there in Hawkins together. I think that's a fascinating piece of the timeline. But after how the writing ended up for Season 5, I'm nervous about this. So let's check this out, see what it has. Again, I feel like I'm not the only one who's not as excited about this as I feel like I should be. But we've got a new trailer. We're going back to the world of Stranger Things, and let's see what it has to offer. Oh, well, there's the arcade. Okay, it's snowy, so it's still taking place around the snowball. Yes. The season 2 finale was my favorite finale.
I need a coat.
Hey, Hopper.
Anything happens to her, these woods hide a lot of mistakes.
Definitely a different cast, which makes sense. Voice actors as opposed to the main the returning cast. Again, this is why I'm curious about this, is seeing all the characters together.
That's when we'll start the campaign.
Snowstorm coming in, so you're going to start a campaign when everyone's snowed in. See everyone hanging out, and I'm sure something else will happen. What is that? That was pretty sizable. Oh, that sounded very that looks very upside down. Oh, April 23rd, okay.
From the upside down must have survived last year.
Looks like it's mutating.
Oh, it's the... Why did this suddenly turn into that Monsters vs. Aliens Halloween short? Oh, hey, Steve. Okay, I hear a little bit of the themes coming in. And Will's gonna have to face it down again. Whoa. Okay, see, this looks interesting, but I'm concerned about the writing.
I've kind of always had a crush on you, Steve.
I've always had a crush on you too, Nancy.
No, I mean Natalie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was such the wrong thing to say, Steve. Oh, you're such an idiot. Love, Steve. That was even worse than the wrong thing to say. That was the thing you shouldn't have even said at all. But okay, that looks very interesting. The art style is a choice, I will say. I don't hate it, but it's weird that a bunch of their push when they announced this show last year was, oh, we want to harken back to the art style of the cartoons we loved in the 80s. I'm like, nothing about that really invoked 80s cartoon to me. Like, again, it doesn't look bad, but it does. If that's what they're going for, then they failed, I feel like. But again, I'm sorry, pumpkin monsters. It makes sense. A lot of that stuff was underneath the pumpkin patch and killing all the farms in season 2. But the way that the creature looked, my brain just went straight to that Monsters vs. Aliens Halloween short. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. When all the pumpkins come to life, when they're in town visiting Ginormica's parents and all that stuff. So that was unfortunately all I could think of while I was watching that. But again, this is a story I'd love to be seen told, but nothing about this gave me any kind of it was such a safe, not really show much trailer. I mean, it is a teaser, to be fair. I'm sure we'll get more in the full-length trailer later as we get closer to April. But nothing about this told me, oh, it's going to be okay. It's not going to have the writing problems that season 5 had. Nothing about this told me one way or the other, and that is my main concern. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look, because, again, I like the visuals of it, even if it's not what they claimed they were going for. So let's take a close look at the visuals of the show and any little details that we might have missed just watching it all the way through. Like I said, let's take another look at this trailer. Again, right off the bat, it's come to think of it, it's been a while since we actually saw them at the arcade. Dude, I don't even think they went there in season 3 because the whole theme was that there were like a lot of mall rats and stuff. So I think season 2 might have been the last time we saw the arcade palace, which is really interesting. And again, the snow and everything, and seeing that photo there, definitely, you know, right. So after the snowball, but still winter season. Again, I like the art style. I think it looks pretty fun. I do love this style of 11, like the short curly hair that she had in season 2. It looks like it's grown a little bit longer from there, which makes sense considering this is going to be part of that gap between 2 and 3. And Hopper. I hope that Hopper's always been like Hopper and Steve have been my favorite characters of the show, so I hope we get plenty. I didn't see a lot of them in this teaser, but I hope we get plenty of them because they are my favorite characters. So yeah, Wintertime in Hawkins, which we ended a lot of seasons with Wintertime, but we never had a story told straight up in Wintertime. I don't think, because I'm pretty sure season 1 was fall. Obviously, season 2 was still fall because it was around Halloween. Season 3 was summer. Season 4 probably was fall. It could have been spring. It was definitely still during school. And same thing for season 5. It was during school time. But we actually get a story just in winter, which is really fun. And I know Max is cold. Like, as a Californian myself, I do not handle cold well. So being in a town that gets absolute like frozen ice and snowstorm like this, which is, you know, most of the country right now, I definitely would not do well in it. But this is so sweet. Lucas and Max, he's putting his hand in his glove with her hand. That's very sweet. So of course, because they're D&D nerds, they have a whole plan that they want to do. Because they're like, hey, it's winter, everything's snowed in, we're going to take that opportunity when it's too cold out and do stuff. Okay. But then, of course, because this is Hawkins, things start to bleed in from the upside down. Also, I do want to say, I actually find it, I know that it's like this show has a very bright art style in general, because like the bright colors are more accented than usual. The bright yellow suit, I think, is really funny because I don't think we ever had... None of the suits that we saw the government guys wear were ever this color. They were always like a more muted color, like maybe a gray or a blue or a white or something like that. So it looks kind of funny seeing the bright yellow like this. Now, is this part of that same creature that ends up mutating later? Maybe. It kind of looks like a bunch of leaves wrapped around each other, so it makes sense if this is connected to the pumpkins and all that. But the mouth opening up like that, you're like, yep, that's from the upside down. And I believe this is one of the pumpkin farms, because we know that there's multiple farmers around Hawkins. There we go. Oh, wait, hold on. What was that on the camera? I think I just saw something. Yeah, I knew that, even though it went by quickly, I knew that was Dustin behind the camera because it says Curiosity Voyager, because of the way he talks to his teacher, who also ended up being a great character. My mom and I often still quote the whole curiosity. Why are you keeping this curiosity door closed and all that? Whoa, who the heck was that? I completely missed that the first time through. This character in the middle between 11 and Will. Looks like she came... She? I don't know. Looks like they came from the Chicago episode, honestly. Like the whole vibe when we met 11's sister and her crew. Bold choice, considering that was the worst episode of the series, and her sister still added nothing. I hated her in the final season too. I thought she was going to get interesting for a moment when she first showed up. Nope, she went right back to being a horrible character. So, oh gosh, please. So either this character is going to die a horrible death, or they're going to have invincible plot armor, because I feel like there's no in-between with the Duffers when it comes to characters that might be part of the main cast. Like, who are you? You're just standing here. Who are you? I completely missed that watching the trailer the first time. Is this the only shot they show up in? I'll have to see. But apparently we're getting another new character. And here we've got a pumpkin monster, which, again, it's a cool monster design, but I feel like it doesn't feel too Stranger Thingsy. That's not you know what I mean? I feel like the mouth needs to be a bit more wicked, like opening up a little bit more Demogorgon-like. It doesn't feel very Stranger Things to me. Like I said, it unfortunately felt very Monsters versus Aliens. Which, again, it's good, but, oh gosh, I just realized there's a lot more waking up around them as they start running there. Yep, the entire field is waking up. Okay, so it's all the rotted pumpkins that got left behind. But hold on, there was definitely time. The snowball was probably in December. So it's been a couple months since the whole tunnels under the town ruining the crops thing. Why would they haven't been cleared out at all yet? Maybe the farmer's just waiting until the spring comes around when he would clear all this stuff out anyway. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I just started to think, like, why would you let that sit that long, especially when everything was just rotting? It wasn't even like a regular, oh, harvest is done and we're going to wait to clean up all the vines that are left. No, it was dead and rotting. I feel like you'd want to get that off your property. Yep, there's Steve and Dustin, the duo that we love and desperately hated seeing them go through pain in season 5. What room is this here? Okay, obviously that's the school. What is... This looks like an office. I see a bunch of newspapers back there. Is this the newspaper office? Oh, once again, Will having to stare down some crazy creature. Again, this right here. This looks better. Like the mouth right here. I get that it's supposed to be like this, probably the creature like mutating more and more over the course of the show, but the mouth looks better here. The other one just doesn't look quite right. I mean, even Dart mutated over the course of the series, and he still looked like he fit in with the universe more as a little one, but even before he became a demodog. And I'm assuming that that explosion was in the junkyard again. No, this is a different place. I thought because of all the scrap metal and stuff, this is going to be like the junkyard, but that looks different. Also, I spot our new Mohawk character standing there in the front, I believe. Yeah, that looks like them. Yep, definitely. Didn't hear a word from that character, so don't know what to expect. Okay, so I'm assuming that this is more like a sawmill because of all there's like again, obviously saws and then a bunch of logs and everything around here. So maybe it's probably a sawmill. Oh my gosh. So basically Mike almost dies here. And there's going to be this death-defying whole thing with like mutant pumpkins attacking the town. And this was just never something that came up. Oh, is that once again a note? Yep. Once again, a nosebleed for 11. Okay. That looks... I can't tell anymore. The fact that its bottom jaw is missing is an interesting choice. Like, it just splits. There's no bottom to the jaw. Again, I don't know what I think about these monster designs. I'm kind of torn on this. But yeah, Stranger Things, Tales from 85. And then that was just the wrong thing to say, Steve. Oh. Yeah, no, Natalie, just leave. He's clearly just thinking of something else. But yeah, so April 23rd, was that the end of it? Yeah, it was. Okay. Like I said, really interesting. Again, this is an era, like I said, from the show that I want to see a story from. But I'm not sure what I think about the monster designs. The timeline-wise is a little weird that I feel like those things would still be there, because I feel like either the farmers would have already cleaned it up or the government would have hauled it all off at this point, you know? But yeah, I'm sorry. I can't get past the fact that it just seems like Monsters vs. Aliens in my head. Hold on, I gotta pull this up. I gotta prove my point. That I'm sorry, the way the mouth is, just put like one split right here in the middle of the jaw, and that is like the exact same pumpkin shape too as the creature. Oh, and especially like the bright, like the neon-ish green the neon sickly green coming from it, and the fact that there's an army of them. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, this is just Monsters vs. Aliens, mutant pumpkins from outer space, but Stranger Things. Oh gosh, yeah, no, that's unfortunate. So there you have it. That was my reaction to the official teaser for Stranger Things: Tales from 85. Again, I think that the visual style is cool, but I don't know what to think of the monster designs, and there's apparently a new character being thrown in there, which I feel like is completely unnecessary. Like, just stick to the cast is so big. Why are you adding another character to an already bloated cast? This is the problem with the later seasons of this show. But again, like I said, I feel very mixed about this because I'm still concerned that the writing's not going to be as good as it was in previous seasons of the show, just because of how frustrating season 5 was. But, you know, maybe because they're not trying to build up to a finale, and everyone knows where it ends up after all of it. All the characters obviously get out of there, and then the Starcourt Mall. Ooh, maybe we'll see the Starcourt Mall with an opening soon or coming soon sign or something like that. We'll see like it being built or under construction, something like that. But yeah, no, I have very mixed feelings about this, which is unfortunate because I loved the show. It just left me with I wouldn't even say straight up disappointing, more like a very meh ending. It was about as mid, I feel like, as an ending could be. But yeah, again, visual style is cool. I think that the voice cast sounds good. It's clearly different actors than the original show. I'm sure so many of those actors are done at this point with that show. But yeah, again, very interesting. We'll just have to wait and see more. I might react to the full trailer when that comes out, see if we get a better idea of who that new character is and what is going on. But anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please drop a like, comment down below if you did. Don't subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye, guys!